Well, hello, everybody. Anyways, hi, welcome to the stream. I'm just going to do the regular little housekeeping bit before, because I'm really excited to have a guest on today. Because really, really like their work. So, this is today's page. This is the one that I was working on during the stream yesterday, drawing in ballpoint pen, and then I added some colors and like a little white Posca, a little bit of yellow Posca, but the rest of it's all just and there's a little pencil crayon, I think, but the rest of it is just colored pens. So this was a lot of fun to do, and I appreciate the idea for it. It's just silly goodness, but yeah, that's today's page that I posted up. I figure even in the future, people are going to have random conversations in the street. So that's what I got happening here. Hey, Jim's joined us. Hiya, Jim. So I'm going to bring in our guest because I'm super excited to have Chris join us. Hi, Chris.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
Switch this off. There we go.
Yeah.
It's really great to have you here. Jim's already said hola to everybody, and let's.
Hola, Jim. That would be.
It's a fun Friday. Have you got? Have you had the ability to sit down and relax and have because Friday is your only day off, right? Well, not even, because you still teach morning classes, don't you?
Exactly. I have the morning class, so I woke up at around 5 a.m., got ready, 6:30. I'm driving. Even though I mentioned a little bit before that it's a 10-minute commute, I prefer to arrive early because I have to set up the equipment, and if I try to get into the parking lot 10 minutes before my class, I wouldn't get in. So
yeah,
yeah.
We got up at 5:30 I got up this morning at 5:30. Lori was already up because I don't know, for whatever reason, we both just couldn't sleep last night. And I got up at 5:30. Well, because I knew I had to take out the garbage, but for whatever reason, I got up at right after Lori did. But she's already cooking, like she's already been baking muffins and making salad and doing all kinds of stuff in the kitchen and just getting herself going. Eventually, she went back to bed, but I've been up since because I can never go back to sleep. I'm up, and
Exactly. Yeah. So, I understand that feeling. When I was on vacation, I sometimes woke up at around 4:30 a.m. and I just turn on the lights and colored a little bit and do something before I just went downstairs and fixed breakfast or something like that. But yeah, it's been a long Friday. I've been feeling, I don't know, for some people, they feel that time is really, really fast. But since January the 1st, I've been feeling, at least from my own perception, that the days are really long and I just want to go to sleep and the hours are just they go by so slowly. I don't know how to explain it. It's just so strange.
No, it makes sense. I mean, there's also the change of season, and sometimes that affects folks. And it's normal for us to get into different stages where we'll associate time and our interest and our energy levels, and they wax and they wane. There's no such thing as somebody consistently driving at top speed, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah, that's right.
Sometimes it's necessary for these little down periods in order to recharge our battery. I feel recharged right now, but it's largely because I spent a good week and a half in, all wrapped up and bundled up because I had pneumonia. So it was like I just wasn't doing anything there. I was just trying to feel better, and that little break just sort of revitalized me for the start of the year. So, which is good because I've been really busy. So.
Yeah, but it was really necessary. Sometimes those downtimes, not because it's a good idea to be sick, but you do need to sleep or something. So
yeah, oh yeah,
yeah.
And before you crack and break down and you're curled up in a fetal position, crying on the floor, and I did my best. I did my best. Nobody can
Yeah.
help. There's
Yeah,
no
that's
help in that. Okay, what do you got on your desk?
well, I don't have a lot of projects for this year because sometimes I get just so many projects that I don't finish anything. So
Sure.
I've just decided this year to honor the Year of the Dragon
Hey,
and try to finish one dragon per month. So this is the January dragon
that's
so
great.
far with color pencils and very cheap color pencils, Prismacolor Junior and Pentel,
I
which are very hard. Some
some,
pastels.
sometimes it's what you get out of them, right? Like sometimes even you can have like a lousy tool,
Mhm.
but if you've got some measure of understanding and how to handle it, then you can do really great things. So
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I'm using these because I have a lot of color pencils, so I don't really need to buy another set of pencils. I kind of decided also that this year is going to be a no buy uh, art material, except, oh my God, I'm
oh,
already doing an exception.
as soon as you
Except,
said it, you had a caveat. What's going on?
I know, but well, I was on Wednesday in the background, like on the balcony during Didi's stream,
Yeah,
and every time she takes out the pan pastels, I'm like, oh my God, I want one set. But they are insanely expensive.
yeah,
So I think that is if I'm going to splurge on something this year, it's going to be the pan pastels, but not right now.
sure.
At least I'm going to try for the first 4 months of the year to be a no buy material
Yeah, well,
and
you do your best.
yeah, finish up everything that I have got because otherwise I just have boxes and boxes and boxes. And when I organize everything and clean everything, I just find the material and I'm like, oh, I have not used this for two
Yeah.
years.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's frustrating.
I'm the same way. I'm constantly picking and switching, right? Like like just pick up random things. Like I haven't drawn with a fine point pen in a while. Let's do that. It's a uniball. Um, I don't know what to work on today. I should pull a suggestion.
Yeah.
Unless unless you're gonna shout something at me.
Well,
Uh-oh.
the other project that I'm going to be working with is what you saw during the New Year's stream. That is the tissue paper
Yeah.
collage. So I'm going to continue doing this. And needle felting. I think I didn't show you the latest two
Let's
additions.
have it.
Okay, so let me see. Let me put a white paper so the dragon doesn't like mess up here with
Yeah.
what I'm going to show. Um, Another weenie dog.
Nice. Well
So
done. For
look at
those
this.
that are interested, the last time that Chris was with us on the stream here, he did a fantastic tutorial on needle pointing. What is it again? I'm sorry.
Is needle felting.
Needle felting. I
Needle
keep wanting to
felting.
call it needle pointing. But she gave us a fantastic tutorial on that, and just
Yeah,
brilliant. If you're interested in trying it out, please check out that.
you're
It's
going to
in
like it.
it's in the streams. Yeah.
Look at
Um,
this.
okay, I got one. I just grabbed this one. It's from Paul Payton, and it's from Paul and Miriam. It's
Oh, that's great.
yeah, a smoke detector that sounds all the time. You throw it and
The
continue
smoke
in the house
detector.
in a different place. What about the life?
Yeah, I couldn't hear the alarm that Paul had in his house during his stream until somebody pointed it out. And then that was the only thing I could listen for the rest of the stream. So I was like, oh my God, I shouldn't have noticed that.
Yeah, I told Paul I can drive over there and switch that out for you. Like I wrote that down, Jen. The life of perming. I've got it, and I put it in the book here.
As a
Thank you for that.
suggestion. Yeah.
Yeah, so as soon as I heard that going off, I'm like, oh, come on. Just because I'm the guy that changes those at home. And so the moment that I heard it, it's like I've got to go and change the batteries in that thing. And it's, because we had one downstairs in the house here, and it I had to replace it because the unit itself was just, I don't know what was going on with it, but I was constantly having to go over and hit the button on it,
Oh,
which is
okay.
wait, yeah, but with my height, I just reached up and hit the button. But and no, it's not like a 12-foot ceiling, so it's a 8-foot ceiling. So I just reached up and turned it off, but I just kept having to do it until I just finally broke down and replaced it. So now whenever I hear that beep beep, it just drives me crazy immediately.
I
And
know it's unnerving. I don't like repetitive sounds like that, like uh, alarms when the cars just go crazy and without noticing they just turn on. It makes me so nervous and
well,
anxious, of course.
what was so cute is that every time Paul would do his Saturday morning stream, like you don't notice it at first, but then as soon as you hear that little chirp sound, you're, and Paul's so funny. He goes, "Yeah, I should change the batteries in that." He
Yeah,
says every time, and he doesn't go do it. And it's like,
exactly. That's right. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh no. I
And I
have to
told him,
confess, I have to confess that this is the first time in the week that I'm sitting to color something or do something artistic. So
oh,
imagine how hectic has my week been.
yeah, really, eh? I can imagine. Like sometimes it just gets away from you, and before you know it, your time is gone. It's just sort of been swallowed up,
Yeah, that's
and
right.
that's the worst feeling. It really is. I'm trying more and more to allow myself to give myself breaks.
Hmm.
It's not that I'm a workaholic. It's that I don't stop working.
Yeah.
That's that's a dumb joke. Anyways, yeah, I just I'm always got something on the go, or it's sitting in. There's always a sketchbook sitting in my lap in case an idea comes to mind, and we're upstairs watching television or whatever else, and so at a certain point you just gotta just decompress, just turn your brain off for a second, and
Yeah, just do nothing for some periods. Yeah, I know. I'm going to try to be better organized this coming week because it's when I have the first tasks coming. And normally the first task is a writing.
yeah,
And I have got three different levels.
okay,
Uh, I'm in teaching English as foreign language.
oh yeah,
So I've got a very basic level. I got one level that is intermediate, another one that is upper intermediate. Sometimes it really is not reflecting exactly what the students can do,
yeah,
but I have like 90 students right now. So I get all the first writing task is for this next Tuesday.
yeah.
So I'm going to be dividing my marking time in Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Oh
So I
boy.
can finish with kind of easiness and trying not to stress.
The class that I talked to last year, that was an advanced class, wasn't it?
Yeah, they were upper intermediate. They were at a level 5, which
Okay.
is let's say, the first one of the upper intermediate level. We were during the summer courses, so it
Yeah.
was like 4 hours and a half every day. And those guys were really good, really good. I
Right.
mean, very good speaking abilities. They lack writing, but they also lack writing in Spanish, so it's not a surprise.
Yeah.
But I think that right now I've got another level 5 also. And so far, what I have seen this week is that they are really good at speaking. They can
Oh,
communicate effectively.
that's great. That's perfect.
So I'm going to ask them if they are interested in having, I don't know, any of you guys who wants to come and
Oh,
like
anything you need, let
have a
me know.
meet or something during the class, it would be cool because it's the class is at this time, exactly at the time you're streaming.
Oh, well, yeah, I don't mind doing something if you want. That's fine.
Oh, that's
I
cool.
Yeah, and there's so many skill sets like amongst all the creative people that we got to meet here in the online community that I'm sure there's other people that'll jump in and offer some sort of insight or tutelage into what they're doing. So, you know,
Yeah, that's right.
yeah, if you put in an open call out, I'm sure some people will volunteer.
Yeah, I'll
It's
try to
just
do that.
it's people's schedules, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What are the time slots? Afternoon or crack of dawn?
Yeah, no, well, I will not ask anybody to come to my class at 7 a.m. in the morning because it's uh, it's like saying bad words at that time. I mean, the students are waking up. I'm waking up. Even if I had a cup of coffee, I'm still waking up. And no, it's ungodly to have a class
Start
at 7 a.m.
just start the class with some calisthenics. You know, get everybody hopping around on the floor and carrying on. Yeah, I wouldn't do that to anybody. That'd be it's almost kind of cruel to say, okay, welcome to class at 7 a.m. Let's jump on the spot.
Yeah, I try to start with a game or with something curious or interesting.
Yeah,
So, and despite the fact I feel tired or sleepy, I have to pretend I'm 100% energy. So
um,
that that helps me wake up a little bit.
yeah.
And I mean, they are nice guys. They come early to class. Well, they must, otherwise they'll get up tardy. But anyway, so far they have been really, really good guys. They want to learn, so that's good.
So, have you ever had one of your students bring you a shiny red apple and put it on your desk?
Not really, not really. They tend to forget you. Not even on Teachers Day.
Yeah,
Here in Mexico, Teachers Day is celebrated on May the 15th.
yeah.
So by May the 15th, the term is due. It's finished. So we don't even
Yeah.
see them. So it's
Oh,
sad.
okay.
It's really
Yeah,
sad.
and you're teaching at the adult level, so you've actually got you're not having to talk to their moms and dads for the most part, right?
Oh, yeah, right. Oh, it would be very embarrassing if I had to talk to a parent for a college student. I
Yeah,
don't know.
oh, sure. I could see that.
Yeah, I mean, no, I couldn't even imagine that.
Mrs. Chavez, your son smokes too much of the wacky tobacco.
Yeah, no,
He
no.
does what?
I let them be free, you know. If they want to pay attention, they pay attention. If they don't, well, the future will let them see that English will be a skill that they'll need. So let's see.
When I was taking French in high school, and there was this guy in the French class that I was in named Daryl, and Daryl was desperate to be an Air Force pilot when he grew up,
Mm,
which I always thought was a funny statement because you're a teenager now. You should be on your path to trying to figure out being an Air Force pilot.
yeah.
Um, yeah, man, when I grow up, and I'm like, I don't know. So, but he would do the funniest thing because where the high school that I went to was called Weeble and it was an adult. It's now an adult education school. It was the sort of last period of time that it was a high school, and we were on the flight path for the airport. So every time a plane went whizzing by, Daryl, who sat at the back of the classroom, and directly behind him were these brown curtains and these great, fantastic windows where you could look up and see the sky. And every time a plane flew by, if you looked at the back of the room, you would see Daryl's body, and about where his shoulders are and up was the curtains, because he was constantly, he would lift the curtains over his head and just stare out the window. There was not an ounce of subtlety to the fact he's not paying attention.
Yeah, okay. Well, that was. I hope that he had made his dream come true.
I hope
But
he
yeah,
did.
I can recall the students like that when I was in secondary school or high school. They were more distracted to, and they were really really eager to see what was outside the classroom and not inside. Yeah.
Oh, sure. And I knew one person in school that their entire focus was on this boy that they were pining over, and it was like um, a 1980s movie with, like Pretty in Pink or any of those, movies that they came out back then, where you
Uh-huh. Yeah.
get the crush on the cool guy in school, and who's completely ambivalent, and she's from the wrong side of the tracks and he's a rich guy and it'll never work out. Yeah.
Just to the movies.
Oh, sure, but you'd see these little dramas play out in high school and go, maybe there's something to that. I,
Um,
I, I always wondered if the high school that I went to ever had. Um, I always wondered if they ever had like you have to come in on Saturday and do detention,
uh-huh.
like in the movie The Breakfast Club. Like
Yeah.
I always wondered if that had to happen, but I was too much of a goody two shoes nerd to get in trouble. Well, I don't want to get in trouble and find out. Yeah.
I wouldn't let students lose at the school on a Saturday alone.
Well, yeah, because you lose it too.
Yeah, I
The worst
mean,
part of that, right?
especially
Is
with these generations that we have right now. No,
they can't handle
definitely not. They're
their
just too
devices.
too crazy. But I do remember good things from my high school. I not necessarily high schools are similar to what you see in the movies, American movies or something like that. You do have kind of the same stuff, the mean girls, the
Yeah,
hunks, the guys that go
the hawks.
to
I
the
love it.
gym, the nerdies. I was part of the nerdies club. But I
Yeah,
remember my high school being drawing all the time. I was drawing on the margins of all my textbooks.
that is the sign of our people.
Yeah.
that that is anybody, and I'm sure that anybody that might be in the stream now, feel free to comment if you just ring that bell if you yourself are part of part of this tribe. But usually the people that are adults that are still writing, drawing, painting, whatever it is, they drew all the time in high school. They were the kids that the front of their math test is the math, and the back of their math test is the drawings that they randomly did while they were doing their exam.
I am. I have human anatomy book that it was this thick.
Oh yeah.
I created those animated flipped cartoons on one
Oh
of the
my
corners.
gosh, that's brilliant. That's
I'm so
absolutely.
sorry I don't have that book anymore. If I did, I would show it to you, but it was so cool.
There was an artist named Michael Allred. He's still producing work, but when I was younger, when his Madman books first came out, I think it was in the early '80s, and he had Madman dancing in the corner of each page in the first books that he, these black and white books that he did. So as you flipped the book, the main character would be doing like the Charleston in the corner or something. Like it was just so fun, and I always wanted to do that, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't draw on books, other than like sketchbooks. I don't know, in my head I'm like, I can't do it. I really want to draw on this book.
Yeah,
but
something. Well,
didn't
it's
have the I didn't have the courage.
well. I drew on all the books I could,
Oh, is that right?
and the challenge was trying for the teachers not to catch you because they could confiscate the things, and you would never see that again.
Yeah.
So I don't have it here with me. I have it, I think, still inside one of the boxes that I have downstairs. But I was so happy. I was so proud to have drawn a comic story.
Oh yeah.
Not very elaborated. The panels are exactly the same, rectangular, etc. But every time I finished a page, I say so, the page circulated around my group and it was not confiscated.
Oh, that's something.
I don't know if the teachers noticed and they just kept a blind eye and they say
Yeah.
no, let's not do something because yeah, now as a teacher you really notice a lot of things, but you don't tell the students. You don't want to embarrass them.
No. And you were probably a good student, right? Like you're probably well behaved, and
Yeah,
you're wearing a leather jacket and putting cigarettes out on the floor and dancing with John Travolta or anything like that.
yeah, no, definitely not. I was the quiet student sitting sometimes at the back, sometimes in the middle of the classroom or front lines or desks, but it all depended on the class, right?
See, I don't know, because Canada doesn't really have cliques. Canada doesn't have, like we have, there's cliche, oh, that's the rocker kids and that's the goth kids or the whatever, but they weren't so clearly defined as was represented in 1970s and 80s movies.
Mhm.
And just sort of everybody sort of cross-pollinated over into whatever else. Like I was a long-haired, you know, artsy weirdo.
Oh, you
Uh,
kind of guessed what I was going to say.
what's that?
That the only bad thing about the 70s and 80s when we were at school was the hair.
Oh yeah, yeah,
The hair was really bad. You
yeah.
see those photos from years back and you're like, what was I thinking to have that hairdo? No, no, no.
Oh, see, you're more organized than I was. I didn't have hairdos. I just had hair, you know, and like I mean, I just had like a lot of hair, and it wasn't exactly the most stylized thing on the planet. And a lot of these people I knew had cool haircuts and would put all this product in their hair and punk rock hairstyles. And a friend of mine had a 3 foot mohawk, and and I'm just the guy who is just doing his best to see through all of the hair he's got in front of his face.
Okay. No, no, no. I'm trying to remember my hairdos. And I had a
But
combination of short hair, long hair. Well, it was fun. It
a
was
lot of
fun.
times, in society in general, but in high school specifically, people will put on armor. Like, people will put a veneer on themselves for social acceptance primarily, but
Hmm.
also for blending, like blending in. And that's what I was doing. I was, I dressed like basically kind of like a greasy rock kid, I guess. I don't know, because I grew up, and even as a teenager, the only way I was getting any kind of clothes that were, let's say, any kind of level at all normal, much less cool, because I grew up in poverty. And it's like I started working at a young age, just so that I could, have jeans that fit me in it, which isn't easy when you grew like I did.
Hmm.
But I I don't know. It was like I was cloaking myself in uh, greasy rocker, greasy, and all my friends are greasy punker. Like all my friends were elaborate punk rock kids with all the chains and bits of business and stuff like that. I was just nondescript because I've never really liked shirts that have any slogans or images on them. And I had the unkept hair, and but all of that was to conceal the fact that I'm secretly a massive nerd. You know, but if you were kids that were in a class with me would realize it no time flat because I would always just fly through like the tests just because of the way my memory works. That I didn't need to study like others did, but I'd fly through the test, but I never stopped messing around on my desk the whole class.
Mm-hmm.
And other kids are doing their exams or their tests or whatever it is, and I'm drawing all over whatever I can get my hands on. And if it's don't take anything out of your desk during this test or this exam, and it's like, all right, well, I'll draw all over the exam.
Yeah. Paper is available, so
I had a problem. But yeah, my look, I think, was possibly to conceal the fact that I was uber nerd. So
yeah, I don't remember that much about. Well, I don't know. I have a perception that kids nowadays, especially, I don't know if you see that with your grandkids. I don't know which school or grade they are taking, but they have more social pressure because of
massive.
they can be recorded at any time, and then they can end up in a TikTok viral video or something like that. So I don't know.
Well,
I see that they have a lot of pressure. They don't like it that much to be exposed that much.
well, we've got a generation of kids coming up that they're so pressured by social constructs, like just completely. These kids are getting inundated with stuff that is just confronting people at an age where they're not prepared to cope, and it's a little over the top, and
Mhm.
it's a whole different set of rules. It's like because I'm a Gen Xer, in the 70s and 80s, a lot of parents were kind of hands off, and kids were having to figure out their own, development into responsible adults, and it's completely the opposite for kids now. It's like PTA, parents, teachers,
Mhm.
whatever, just won't leave the kids alone. Just leave them alone. Like stop constantly trying to sociologically groom them into something,
Oh yeah.
and just let them go out in the backyard and eat mud.
Or do
Whatever.
whatever they want to do. I
Yeah.
mean, it's very important. In a certain way, I'm kind of happy that there were no phones or social media when I was in secondary school or high school, because definitely I would have been ended in the group of uh, a victim of bullying.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, it would have been hard to cope with that.
Well, I was small in grade 9, and I because I platinum hair. Like I had really, really, really light blonde hair for a long time, and because I got the big curls in it, like the longer it gets, the more it curls.
Hmm.
And even my principal in my grade, in the first high school there said to a lovely young lady, and I'm like, was he busting my butt, or was he, did he think I'm a girl, or is he just being funny? Like I didn't, you do that to a kid, and they're like, oh, crazy neurotic. Jim
Yeah.
has something to say here. Let me see if I can read it in the form of Jim. Well, when I was in ninth grade, my daddy wouldn't buy me the brand new Lamborghini that I wanted. He forced me to drive a Porsche, and that was almost a year old. I think that's how Jim sounds.
That's, that's a good impersonation.
That's a terrible impersonation of Jim. But it's a fun
I
person.
cannot play with voices. I can probably meow a little bit to confuse my cats, but later they bite me.
You did that the last time you were on the stream, and it was funny because right after you did it, I think I heard your cat meow back to you like, what? I don't understand that. Say it again. Like I don't know.
Yeah. This time they are locked outside because they were so messy before the stream that I was like, okay, you guys, bye. They were
Get out.
kicked out.
And you can chastise a cat as much as you want. Like you can point your finger at it and say, no, no, you, no. And the cat just looks at you like you're the biggest silly person they've ever seen.
Yeah, or they go directly at you and bite you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost written on their face like, yeah, all right, I'll just wait till you turn around and do it anyways.
Oh yeah.
Cats
Yeah.
don't.
And Nico is so full of vengeance sometimes. I scold him like, no, don't do that, don't do that. And the moment I turn around, he goes and grabs my leg and bites me.
Your cat is a terror.
Yeah, he is. And he got angrier the other day because I listened to him coming for my leg and I just waited like this ready and I
Yeah.
pushed him to the ground and I was like, no, you are not doing that.
Oh no.
And he got even more upset.
It's interesting how that dynamic works, right? Like our youngest, we've got two cats. There's Corbin that everybody knows, and then I have a cat named Baby, and Baby is this tiny, cute, beautiful little female cat that almost looks like she's a perpetual teenage cat type thing, and
Uh-huh.
vicious. Like she just hates people, and so she doesn't trust anybody except for me. And like it's just I had her since she was she could fit in the palm of my hand.
Oh.
I would have to give her milk through a syringe because she was taken from her mother too soon. But because of that, like she sort of really bonded with me and really disliked anybody else that would come say, oh, she's such a pretty cat, and she'd just take a swipe right away. but but over the years she lightened, but she would do this thing, and cats do this. If there's kids in a household, the cats will contest seniority in the household. They will there's their hierarchical pack, like their hierarchical creatures, right? Pack creatures.
Mhm.
So Baby is constantly vying for who's the senior sibling with the kids, and she gets in a good scraps with Sean, who just rolls her around on the floor, and she's like trying to bite and scratch him, and he doesn't care. But the funniest thing that she would do is with the youngest. She wouldn't put up with anything from our youngest boy Christopher. He
Okay.
he would say, "Baby, get out of the way," as he's trying to go in his bedroom door. She would hide around the side of the door. So as he would go to leave, she'd take a shot at his legs, like, and she'd wait him out. Like she would just sit there, curled up, just looking innocent, waiting as Chris is doing whatever in his room. But she'd wait a good half an hour, and as soon as he comes out of that room, baby, like he just, she'd just swipe at his legs. It was fantastic.
Yeah, perfect ambush. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what they
it's just
like. Yeah.
horrible vengeance. I like that you call it vengeance with your cat. That's really
Oh
great.
yeah, it's vengeance, definitely. Because he knows when I'm angry and he knows when he's doing something that he's not supposed to do.
Yeah,
So he just looks at me and he kind of chirps like if he was watching a bird, this sound that they make, and he knows that he's being scolded. But the moment I finish that, it's like, okay, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. Watch your leg. And he does all the time.
nice. I
Yeah,
uh, I
it's good
think
to
it's fun.
anticipate him.
I think it's fun, like the dynamic that people set up with pets, and you get some really interesting scenarios going on. Like, um, they're so bonded to you that you'll get away with doing things that other people won't with your animal, or um, they have a certain attitude that they they assume oh, you've sat down in this chair, move over, I'm going to sit on you now. Like
Hmm.
this is our routine, is that I come over here and you have to pet me for a while. And I always think that's funny. I always think that it's really interesting that cats specifically are so, they're routine. They just love routine,
Hmm.
I'm
And
sure
it's
dogs
good
are the same.
if you are a person who likes routines, a cat is perfect for you because
Yeah.
they you know exactly what to do at a particular time of the day. So it's
Lori
for
had
me
to
it
go to,
works.
sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. That for me it's okay. So this week that it has been my first week back to college.
Yeah.
Uh, the first day on Monday, they were like, "Why are you waking up so early? Why are you leaving?" So the two cats were totally mad. And in the afternoon, when I came back at around 4:30, that would be 5:30 for you. They were so mad at me because I
Yeah.
hadn't been there all day for them. They just ignore me all Monday.
Our cats are desperate. They think we're just going to abandon them. They've abandoned them every time we go out the door, I think. Lori went to Toronto yesterday for a big conference thing, part of her work. And when she got home, the baby came with me. Like, baby was, because Lori and I married, we've been together 13 years, and we were married
Mm,
10 years ago.
great.
And baby, when we moved our houses together, Lori got her first cat, and what a cat it is, But now she's so bonded with Lori that Lori goes to Toronto for the day, and baby is just beside herself. She's wandering around the house with her toy, just looking, just calling for Lori, like, "Where are you? I've got my baby." And just ridiculous behavior.
Hmm.
But it's because she's worried that Lori's not coming back. You know what I mean? Like, I've been abandoned. Because that's what
Oh
cats
yeah.
do. Cats aren't sure what is wrong with you because we sleep as long as we do at night. Like, cats don't understand that
Hmm.
they think that's why they'll check on you in your bedroom, because they just want to make sure you're still okay because you've been sleeping for like 7 or 8 hours. That's not
Oh
right.
yeah.
You got to get up and stretch and make a massive cat yawn every now and then.
Yeah. Or just make a mess downstairs like Nico.
Yeah,
Like
there you go.
2 a.m. in the morning, he's just zooming around. Just
He's like the cartoon cat that sits on the mantle and goes tink and knocks the vases over. Tink.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be 5, so I hope that he starts kind of winding down,
Yeah.
with age. But he has been so much fun, really.
Excellent.
He's very intelligent. I mean, if he could speak Spanish, he would talk to me definitely, because he communicates so clearly with his purring and his meowing, even his eyes. So
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
understand him.
There's a part of me that thinks that cats are telepathic. Not just flat out. It's not like, oh, so in aliens. Anyways, aliens are Sasquatches. So because the cats will look at each other, and baby will just, she'll look at Corbin and then look back at us, and then Corbin wanders up to us and starts meowing because it's time to be fed because baby just said so.
Hmm.
It's it's really weird stuff like that, but they never say anything. They don't meow at each other, but it's almost like they just know. There's some kind of expressive cueing that the cats are doing with each other that we can't see. Okay,
Yeah.
so I got my page started. It's suggestion today is a smoke detector that sounds all the time. You throw it and it continues in the house in a different place. You throw it and it continues in the house in a different place.
Oh, that's like a nightmare already.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's I'm gonna just change my bad handwriting, my bad grammar here. So this is a fun one to do. So the first thing I did is, here's the alarm on the ceiling. There's some wallpaper there. And then the second shot is I'm just zooming in on it, and
Mm-hmm.
there's really not much point for me drawing any background details or anything like that, because it's going to go beep 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 over top of this image. So
That kind of makes me remember the the one that you drew. I think was last week. The one of the spirit in the spaceship or something like that.
oh, the spaceship, the
Yeah,
haunted,
that
yeah,
that's
haunted
the
spaceship.
ghost or something. So that was. I have been trying to remember the name of the movie that I mentioned, but I just can't. But this detector could be also like kind of possessed by an evil spirit, and that's why
There
it's
you
just
go. Yeah,
making
that's a
beep
good
all the
idea.
time. So
You try to take the battery, switch the batteries out, and you're like, "Don't touch me!" What? Run! There's Eddie Murphy had that great joke about the paranormal, is that he never understands white people, because in all these horror movies they're always depicted as, "Oh, I love this house. There's beautiful, the woodworking is beautiful and it's so spacious. Get out. We're gonna have to do something about that though." Like
mhm.
they just think that it's their house, it's whatever, they're going to overcome the ghost situation. And he says that's not how, that he says that's not how black people do it. As soon as you walk in a house and go, "Man, this is a good looking house. And the furniture and the ornate woodwork," and the police goes, "Ah, but that's it, we're leaving."
Yeah, like real.
Turn around and bounce out the room. Yeah,
The first time I watched this movie, Poltergeist,
yeah.
I was very young,
Oh yeah,
and well, in those times, what was early 80s or I don't remember. The special effects were very scary.
yeah.
And something that left me traumatized was the house being built on top of a cemetery.
Is that right? But
So,
that's cultural though.
yeah, I know. And the first thing I asked my dad and my mom when they bought the new house where we are here in Querétaro is like, Mom, Dad, did you make sure that the house was not on top of a cemetery? My mom was just laughing at me. It's like, what kind of question is that? It's like, I'm traumatized.
There's
Traumatized.
something to that though. It's a cultural signifier. Like it's the same as when you move into a house, and well, who knows what the history of this place is. There could have been, you know, a crazy serial killer that lived in slept in your room. Like we just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but we were the only people that have lived in our house, so that it's like the only time that I've never thought about the, oh no, who wonder who lived here before, and if they were secretly a stabber and they got a magic door that opens up and it's just full of knives or something crazy, right? And
Yeah.
that's not the case here at all, because it's only us that have ever lived here.
I think it's
So,
important to ask, to at least to make sure that the land is not sacred or something.
well, I got a friend who's a real estate agent. I'll have to ask him if he's ever had clients that he's walked through a house for potentially selling to him, and somebody said, "Hey, how's the ghost situation here?"
I would run out in a moment. I would say, no, thank you. The house is beautiful. Bye. I'll find another place.
There is a poltergeist problem, and the walls do drip blood. Goodbye.
Yeah,
Hey,
just
Paul,
imagine that. No, no, no.
there's Paul.
That would
Hey,
be.
Paul, the page I'm doing today is a smoke detector. Let me see if this is familiar to you at all, Paul. A smoke detector that sounds all the time. You throw it, and it continues in the house in a different place. And this is the suggestion for today, and it's from Paul, Paint, and Miriam. Where can I need a source image of a smoke detector just going off and nobody doing anything about it. I wonder where I could find that.
Paul's alarm will be immortal with
Yeah.
this story. but it's
I like
actually fun.
I like incorporating people's stories in though. Like the one piece that I did, one of the little flip scenes. Do you
Hmm.
remember those? Hold on, let me see if I can. Uh, see if I can find it. I got this envelope just full of these, all the zines from the zine swap, and I think I got some in here somewhere. I don't know where I put them. Anyways, I did the one page, and it's the beaver story. And
Okay.
so what the beaver story actually is that Janet Young was talking about her her backyard. She had a peach tree, and in
Oh,
the
yes, I remember. Yes, I remember the story. Yeah.
yeah.
And you made
So
it a scene, right? Yeah.
what, what's that?
You made it as a scene, right? As a little
Yeah.
scene.
Oh no, I did it as a whole story. Like here, I'll pull it up. I've got it here. Oh, Yolanda's joined us. If I couldn't draw in class, oh, Chris has joined us. There, oh, there you are. And you jumped in the chat too. I don't know how you do that. If I couldn't draw in class, I'd fall asleep. Jim can attest. I could fall asleep on a dime. That's pretty good. Yolanda's joined us as well. Hiya.
Hi.
Here's the beaver one. But this story, the third panel here on the bottom, that's Janet herself. Because she said she chased the beaver with a broom.
Oh
And the
my.
beaver could care less. He just sort of dragged her tree into the river. And so I incorporated Janet's story into this zine. And this is the one that folds up into a right here. I've got this is the format it is drawn. I drew it in on a piece of paper so that
Hmm.
you cut the center here and then fold this into a flip book. But this is totally Janet chasing the beaver, and this is the beaver having eaten her peach tree. Like I even say, I saw this beautiful peach tree. I knew they grew it for me. Terrible. I'm a terrible person, but that sort of thing is fun. When people sort of say, "Hey, here's a thing I did," or "Here's a
Yeah.
situation that happened for real in my world." So today we're doing Paul's fire alarm.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, Janet would chase
Yolande
it.
says that. Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't chase anything that has bigger teeth than me.
I screamed at
Yeah.
a skunk in the backyard here, of the house, and but it was so dumb. Like there's this a skunk there, and I'm doing stuff in the backyard, and I turn around, and I see the skunk like 6 feet away from me, and I don't know why, but I just turned and went, "Get the hell out of here!" And it skittles off. I mean, I think it just turned around and blasted me, but you know. Yolanda says, "I love the beavers having their morning coffee." Oh no, it's tea. It's a cup of tea. It's the one because the one keeps interrupting the story and saying, "Cup of tea." All right, sounds lovely. So anywho, and then it wanders over here and says, "Tea." Thank you. So what happened then? Just such a dumb.
A beaver with tea. I would have never imagined that. So,
Oh, there's a comment for you. Yolanda says, "Chris, that your dragon and flower page is looking wonderful."
oh, thank you very much,
Yeah.
Yolande. Here we
Oh,
are. Yeah. So we're about to finish this one,
there you go. I
which is good because it's my goal for having a January dragon done.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. And you've given yourself some grace time because you got
Mm-hmm.
a week of
That's
dragon
right.
recovery time before you have to color February's.
Yeah, exactly. I have to. I'm probably going to change the book that I
Yeah.
will color. because I just found, well, not today, but at the beginning of the year, I found this one.
That's cool.
And I'm not a fan of the paper because it
No.
doesn't have any tooth or something. It's really smooth, but it's a color workbook. He's on his phone.
Yes, Paul. It's your smoke detector.
Yeah, it's your story, Paul. You're being immortalized. He should appear on your comic, Christopher,
Well, that's what
with his signature hat.
I was just about to draw Paul in here. I was literally just about to put him in and have him be in the panel. So I'll have him trying to sort out the smoke detector situation.
It'll
Because why
probably
wouldn't we do that?
motivate him to change the battery eventually.
Well, I mean that happens, right? Like in our house, the ceiling upstairs is so high. It's an open concept living room, but the ceiling
Uh-huh.
is so high that even I have to get on a chair or something. Like I got no choice in the matter. It's way too high up. So yeah, you know, I can't get away scot free with just reaching up and switching out the one in the basement. But upstairs, even I got to get a ladder.
Yeah, I'm thinking the smoke detector is possessed because I once heard a legend
Yeah.
of somebody, there's a typical Mexican ghost buster. He goes to houses that are like haunted or something. And he investigated a case.
Yeah.
And in this house, some kids were playing with this Ouija table. I don't know if it's the same thing, the one that you move around and you get messages with spelling of
Oh,
letters of the alphabet or something like that.
Ouija board? The Ouija board?
Yeah, I think that's the same. In Spanish, we say Ouija.
Oh, okay.
And
Probably the correct pronunciation of it.
yeah, no, nothing at all. But this guy says that the family was throwing that board all the time to the trash can and trash can, and it came back to the same spot, the bookshelf. And they didn't know if it was somebody pranking them or it was for real. So
a,
it's
a
pretty
friend
scary if it happens.
a friend of mine's like a real gothy person. Like they're really, they're always wearing black and they're very, you know, gothy music and the gothy hair, even though they're going bald now. But um, they've got an elf on the shelf because they're a textile artist. They made the elf look really mean and
Hmm.
evil looking. And so they put that elf in the house around their house and purposely go out of their way to creep each other out with it move and seeing how long it takes the other one to figure it out. Like it's a really weird game they play around Halloween. Oh, this that is spooky with the Ouija board, I guess. Uh, Cats are killers. Do they make gothy toupees? Oh my gosh, that's a great question.
No, that could be cool.
That would be. Yeah, it's a hi. My name is Simon. Welcome to the pit of darkness. Hold on, my toupee fell off.
Oh no. I followed this Mexican Ghostbuster for a long time
Yeah,
on his YouTube channel, and some of the cases were really, really scary.
yeah.
And he always recorded with special cameras.
Okay.
I don't know the name or the specifications, but those cameras that kind of pick up some thermal kind of
Oh yeah. Well, thermal
response or something like
camera.
that. So he went to cemeteries or parks where he was told that people were there seen during certain times of the day, and you could see the heat, but a very small little thing. And oh my God, that's scary. So, but it was very interesting. Very, very interesting.
It really is. I like that. I think it's just I don't know if I can handle it. Honestly, I really, you know, here we are in this place, man. Ghosts are
Oh,
real, and you know, most people are skeptical off the top. But then when one of those devices goes off, you know, that's enough to convince people that something weird's happening.
hmm.
You know, you'll tap right into that. And we scare ourselves more with things than the actual things, right?
Yeah, I stopped following him one day because he was streaming live. He was in Puebla, one state not close to where I am, but in central Mexico.
Yeah.
And he was at an abbey or convent or something. And he started his live streaming saying, okay, we are live. We are here inside the first floor. Uh, and they started listening to things. Suddenly he pans his camera like to record the top of the stairs or something like that. And you could clearly see somebody like leaning and peeking and suddenly hiding behind a wall.
Oh,
And he was like, oh, did you see that? Let's go and chase that. And I was like, if I saw that, I would be the other way around, you know? Like, bye bye.
there'd be a cutout shape in the wall and the shape of you as you ran through the wall just to bust it out of there.
Exactly. Like typical Tom and Jerry or Bugs Bunny or something. Like, get me out of here. I wouldn't be chasing anything inside there.
Yeah, it's there's a really quick decision making process for me, and that's nope out.
Yeah, bye bye.
Is that tomato juice streaming down the walls there? Oh my gosh, I think it's blood. Bye, Chris. Chris, where'd he go?
Yeah, no, no, no. No, there were some other cases. Another case that I remember that was also pretty scary. He is a cameraman, and this guy went into this apartment where there was supposed to be somebody who decided not to continue living. I don't want to say the word because you know the algorithm and things like that.
Well,
So they
down
were
to
recording. They were recording the living room, and they noticed that the lights went on and off, and they decided to walk into the bedroom, and the camera guy was having the camera like a recording in front of him. Suddenly he dropped the camera to record the floor, and you could see on the left a feet. He
just
never saw a person, but you can see the feet on his left, and he never noticed until they went back to the studio and do the editing of the video.
oh man, you know. And then what do you do? Should we go back? No,
I wouldn't go back. They went back to
that ghost was gonna get you, man.
they went back to with a thermal camera to see if they could pick up something. And
Yeah.
I didn't watch the second part. I was just too freak out. It was like, no,
Did they have to
too much.
recreate the sequence of events that led up to the ghost setting? Like, okay, hold this. You're eating a grilled cheese sandwich.
Yeah.
And then you said something about my gothy toupee. I laughed, and then the ghost got you.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. I
exactly
mean,
what we.
those topics are interesting, you know, but I'm not a fan of watching horror movies.
No,
I give suggestions, but I don't watch horror movies. Definitely, I wouldn't. And I don't know. I'm attracted to paranormal things, but if something really happens to me, I would just freak out so much that I wouldn't go back to any place that has that kind of history.
I just. Oh, yeah, we go. I got it back to life. I thought my pen died. Yeah, well, that's the challenge, right? Like that's the whole thing with old places and places that people have been living for X amount of time. And you
Yeah.
know, who knows what happened here before. There's a spot, a random spot in the in London where there's just this random brick like just this one block of stone in
Hmm.
the middle of a really wide courtyard area of a street there. And all these people walk by and walk over it every day, and that's where the guillotine was. Or this is a
Oh
fancy
my
part.
gosh.
So just in the middle of the street, so people are constantly stepping over it. It's where the guillotine was. That's the basic. That's one of the footings for the guillotine to sit on, so it didn't shake around.
Oh my. Well, yeah, if you kind of investigate the history of a place, you're probably going to find some spooky things around, no? And maybe the next time you go there, you're going to be a little bit wary about
Yeah,
uh, should I go closer or something like that. I think no,
I
I really don't want to see things, definitely. No. I have
I get
had the students who are sensitive to those things and they
yeah
can see people, like in the movie, really, literally. They can see dead people. And at schools are a particular place where I have heard the stories. I have never seen anything in the schools that I have worked in the past, but I have heard the the security personnel or some teachers or people who work at night that they get to listen to kids or they see these balls of lights floating
yeah.
around. Um, and well, it's I think it's part of the folklore of the school to always have a spirit there, no?
Oh, for sure. Like it's just as natural as can be when it comes to people have died here. This was used as a hospital during the Civil War. A lot of people would have died there then, right? So it's like all kinds of crazy history of places. A lot of people believe it leaves this huge effect on it.
Hmm.
We got a bunch of stuff in the chat. Yolanda says that then we got the toupees and then suggests a one-page story of a guy getting a gothic toupee. So I wrote that down. It's going in the book today, and you can't really see it, the flare up.
Yeah, I want to see that. I really want to see that
Yeah,
how you tackle
hopefully,
that.
hopefully it'll control him. Get over there, and move over there. Now sit down and be depressed. I like suspense thrillers, says Yolanda, but not super scary horror gore movies. And then, yeah, you're not alone in that one. That's for sure. I'm
Yeah,
pretty. I love thrillers, and I love like The Shining. In my mind, is the absolute scariest horror,
I agree.
and it's pure psychological horror. Uh,
Hmm.
Paul Pate says, "Is that Attack of the Killer smoke detectors?" Well, I'm just the camera's here. It's panning in on the smoke detector as it beep beep beeps, and then the next shot is Paul Pate, the detective, and he's at the house saying, "So can you tell us about when this started, ma'am?" And the whole time through this entire page, every time you see the detector image, is going to have beep 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 all around it, so that text is of the beeping is going to move through the page like a design element. But here's Detective Paul Pate trying to find out how long that beeping has been going on for. So this is
Yeah.
fun. Hey, Malcolm, how you doing? Welcome aboard. Salty says, I taunt the host. I peed in a cemetery at midnight once during a Halloween party. there, oh, I taunt the ghosts. I'm so sorry. Yeah, that's it. I'm not afraid of no ghosts. You know, pee in the cemetery. There was
Yeah.
a there was a band called Deja Voodoo, and Paul says no whizzing on ghosts. They hate it. It goes right through the ectoplasm. There was a band in Montreal, Canada called Deja Voodoo, and they did at least one album. And these two guys, one's on drums going, like that. And then
Uh-huh.
the dude that sings plays a bass guitar. But the best part is he's got this going down to the cemetery to see my friends from school.
Okay.
Literally, the only line I can remember of any of their music is I'm going down to the cemetery to see my friends from school. I'm going down the cemetery. They're all dead. They act so cool. Yeah.
No, no, definitely not. Oh no, no. Yeah, there are places when some people tell me that they have seen ghosts or something, and I
Yeah,
try not to get close to that area.
is
It's
that
like, oh,
right?
just in case.
There you go. Not me. I'm the guy who'll just wander in, and in a horror film, I'm the person that denies whatever's going on to the people around them. You know what I mean? And like,
Uh-huh.
what's going on in this house? So we've lost. We can't find Paul. He walked down that hallway and he disappeared. We think it's the house is haunted. We gotta figure out what happened to Paul. And it's like, he's probably downstairs. I'd be that guy. I mean the guy that goes, he's probably just downstairs. Maybe he went down the staircase. Maybe he fell through the floor. Let's go look for a hole. And meanwhile, everybody else is like, everybody pull out your crucifix and hold it in front of you.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. I think I would be the extra in a movie,
Yeah.
the first person that goes out and escapes the tragedy. That's me.
Oh, is that right? No, I'm the guy who it's either the Magoo principle. Do you know what the Magoo principle is?
No, not
Yeah,
really.
I'll tell you that in a second. I'm either the Magoo principle guy or I'm the guy who dies first because
Okay.
I'm the one that goes into the room where we know the vampire is in the dark and my flashlight stops working and I'm smacking it like, come on, what's going on? And then the vampire's behind me. Bah, I'm dead, right? Or it's my flashlight goes out and you can see it turning on and off because I'm shaking it to try to get the batteries to work. And the vampire gets it in his eyes, goes, moves back, but I completely missed that. I didn't see that happening. And then, the vampire tries to sneak around the other side, and I'm smacking it on my hand now like this. And of
Uh-huh.
course, it turns on in the vampire's eyes again, and I've missed it. That's the Magoo principle, where
Oh, okay.
you stumble blindly around, and you're always just missing disaster. Like the vampire swipes at you with a big claw, and yes, just as I've dropped the flashlight on the floor and I lean over to pick it up, and the claw just sweeps above my head and misses me.
Oh, okay, okay.
just,
I wouldn't
just
survive any of those two cases. Paul is joining you in being the first dead person.
well, there we go. Uh, Paul says he's the last person that you should call regarding smoke detectors. Who are you gonna call? Ghost Wizards. Oh my gosh, that's great. Paul is downstairs trying to fix the smoke detector, and I'm the first dead person. There you go. Yeah, I got
Paul,
it.
Paul, we're trying to encourage you to to check on your smoke detector. Because what if there's a spirit really behind the beep?
Yeah, Paul. What if it's
It
that?
could be.
Or it could
It could
be.
be. I
Could be.
just remember the cook at one of the schools where I worked. She was at the cafeteria and she normally told us, oh, the blender sometimes turns on alone. We were like, "Oh, really? Yeah, sometimes I'm cooking here around, and then and on the other side of the kitchen, the blender just turns on. So I suppose it's the ghost that is curious about how blenders work." And I was like, oh, "Thank you for telling me. I'm not coming back to the kitchen anymore."
That's what it is. A ghost that's curious.
It is, right? Maybe it's a ghost that died a long time ago, and now it's just pushing buttons on these electronic devices that we have because they are curious about them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that would work. That's a great story idea. I like we went to a place called Casa Loma in Toronto here in Canada, and a guy built a castle. He's the guy responsible for setting up the hydroelectricity for downtown Toronto and streetcars and all that stuff. So he made tons of money. He
Awesome.
spent it all and went bankrupt and never got to live in the castle that he built.
Oh,
He was there for like
terrible.
8 months and moved across the street to this big carriage house that was built for it and sold a lot of the land that was around it, and it developed immediately in this huge subdivision. So he just was always across the street for the most part. But when you go in there, like there's there's this beautiful, fancy, ornate castle looking thing. But it'd be funny if you could like rent, like pay to stay in the castle for a night or something like that,
Hmm.
and then you realize there's all these party ghosts and things like that that passed away over the years, and it just that's I love stories like that. But you could totally have a, uh, scenes where somebody's trying to be like you say, like the sneaky ghost, at the end of the bed and trying, not getting noticed or really getting focused on, and the person's like the ghost is trying to be seen, but the person just keeps turning away from them or whatever.
Hmm.
Ooh, but the person's, doesn't have their hearing aids in.
Yeah, I know.
I love stories like that. That's the stuff that makes me happy.
Yeah.
Paul says, a spooky juicer, says Yolanda.
Yeah, that's fun.
Paul says, I'm not joking. My wife talked about calling a contractor today. I think I should take a look at it.
Okay.
Are you talking about the smoke detector still? It's still going? Paul says that dragon is really beautiful, Chris.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. Well, let me tell you, if one of my house appliances turns on unexpectedly, I'll certainly check with a technician, and the technician says there's nothing wrong. I'll probably go to the spirit evil possession thing, and then I'll
Well,
probably sell the house.
I've got a problem like that in my house. There's a lamp that's on the other side of my studio, and it just turns on and off whenever I'm, just watching a comedy show or something, and somebody will say something really funny, and I'll be
Uh-huh.
like laughing and clapping, and then this lamp's going crazy.
Oh my!
But because I got a clapper set up on it, but
But
because I'm laughing.
but it sounds interesting, but it also sounds spooky.
It sounds spooky, but it's a clap on, clap off the clapper. So as I'm laughing and clapping, it just turns on and off. And anyways, gotta go to the bus stop later, gang. Hey, take care, Paul. It's going to pick up the stop.
Bye, Paul.
The good old days of picking up the kids at the bus stop.
Oh yeah.
Get in the van. Come on, get in there. Get out of the bus and get in this vehicle. It's funny how many places the bus is so out of the way of people's houses, or people got to rush home from work to pick the kids up, and
Hmm.
where the bus drops them off, which is still like 4 blocks from their house. It's
Oh yeah.
amazing to see how many parents I would see sitting in their cars to literally drive a block away when
Hmm.
my kids were small. Yeah, Ilana says that's a sensitive clapper.
Very.
For some reason that sentence makes me laugh.
As far as you don't see a shadow operating the lamp, I think it's fine.
Well, I do hear something going, woo, woo, the lamp's turning on and off. And it's the ghost of Norm Macdonald or something. Hey, I'm turning the lamp on and off here. You're not even looking. You're not even looking.
Let me tell you
Ooh,
one spooky
I'm a
story.
ghost. All right.
This was at school, the same school of the cafeteria and the blender and all that.
Yeah.
The classrooms were not like in a single building, they were like small little cabins or houses.
Yeah.
So the one that was closest to the field, to the soccer field, it was a very small group. But I met a student, I don't remember his name. I met a student, and he was this kind of has this sensitivity to paranormal things. And like 1 or 2 weeks into the semester, he told me, Miss, don't go and sit too much there where the desk is, because there's an old man here in our classroom, and he's always
No.
standing there. and he's always looking like on top of your left shoulder of what you're writing and doing. And I was so freaked out that really I just went, dropped my back in there, and I gave the class very close to the door.
Oh
It
my.
was a complete school year of nightmare because I knew that there was somebody there, and I just didn't want
And
to
they're a
open
murderer.
myself to feel anything, or see something.
It's always ghosts that are scaring people, or ghosts that are haunting people, or ghosts that are following people around. What if a lot of these ghosts are just perverts that wouldn't go away?
Yeah, I don't know. Later on, I asked him, "Do these spirits know that you can see them?" And he says that he doesn't want to make it obvious because the moment they notice, they go and follow him.
Yeah, before you know it, there's lovers like, working with clay together, and you're running around like Whoopi Goldberg, and
Hmm.
those are references for the movie Ghost.
Yeah, that's
That
right.
movie
Yeah,
was that movie was terrible.
I saw it like 3 times,
Yeah,
and because I like Patrick Swayze, he was like, "Oh, yeah." So,
he was a big old
but
pile of beefcake.
the story was interesting.
No,
I don't think it was very well taken into the end
no,
because Whoopi Goldberg is well, she's nice, but for me, she has never been like a good actress in
no, no.
comedy. She exaggerates too much, but there could have been a better ending, probably, or taking the story to another kind of thing. No, so I don't know, but yeah, but practically, I saw it because of Patrick Swayze.
It's all right. Kept
Yeah,
waiting for him to kick guys wearing tight jeans. Oh no, that's Roadhouse.
that's different.
I have to go do more errands with the hubby. I'll see y'all later. Thanks for the fun stories and stream. Thanks for hanging out, Yolanda. It's really nice of you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that just the whole idea of coming back and seeing, like, as a ghost, and to see your loved ones, and it's like, jeez, all right, creep. This is part of me. It's like, move on.
Yeah, and I do think they move along. I believe that maybe the people that we love and they have passed on, I think they stay for a little bit,
Yeah,
trying to make sure that you are okay, that you are coping, because they know that it's something that is permanent, of course. And I think that after maybe a few days or hours, if they see that you're coping, that you're going to be fine, they need to transcend, to move to another place wherever they go. No,
yeah,
and the ones that stay here, like the ones you see this person always at the same spot on the road, and they cause accidents, or the spirits in the schools or things like that. I don't know why they decide to stay. I don't know what keeps them here.
but
It's
probably
a mystery.
solved. Somebody has to solve my murder. That's what happens in the TV shows and the movies. The ghost sticks around because somebody has to solve who killed me. There's all kinds of things like that in
Hmm.
television. I don't know. I think a lot of them just, if there's such a thing as ghosts that are milling about around their loved ones, and trying to speak to them. Hello. Cat has opened the door wide. Yeah, baby. She pushes the door wide open when she comes in.
Oh, how
Um,
cute.
I think that these ghosts have got, they're trying to tell you something. They got this unresolved issues, and after 3 or 4 days, they're so frustrated with you ignoring them that they leave. That's
Yeah.
my theory.
Yeah, who knows? But I just think that they should not be around for so long, because then I don't know, maybe they don't know they are dead. Uh, But who knows, right? I mean, it would be very creepy to communicate, as you said, with a ghost, no? And
Yeah.
I wouldn't like to do that, but at least I can, well, of the previous experiences that I have had with my grandmother, with my granddad, that
Yeah.
I knew that they were here around for some days, making sure that everybody here was okay. But it was my more sensitive sister, the youngest one.
Yeah.
She's the one who can really perceive, not necessarily see things, but she can feel some spirits around. And she's the one that she's been telling me these things, that they stay around for certain days or hours, it all depends, and then they go. They have to move on.
Yeah. Well, usually it's because they're just, oh, they're trying to tell you things like, don't, no, just don't make a sandwich right on the counter. You don't know if your cats have been climbing all over that today. Like,
Uh-huh.
but there you go, doing the things, and finally they get embarrassed and frustrated of your bad behaviors that they never got to notice, during during their lifetime. They never realized. Oh my goodness, she licks every spoon after she uses it and leaves it on the counter. Like, this is
Oh,
horrible. I don't want to see any
imagine.
more of this. I'm going to heaven.
And there have been TV programs with that kind of main plot, the spirit or the ghost that is here defending the person who stayed. And this person is about to have an accident and they stop the accident, or they're about to be robbed or something and they kill the criminal or something like that. And well, I don't know if it's okay to have a bodyguard like that, but it would be
Well,
pretty
it's
scary
effective
if you didn't
anyway.
know.
It's effective, but they could do more. Like, I mean, not just protect you, but they could tie your enemy's shoelaces together, so then
That would be fun.
you
That would
can
be
run
fun.
away and they can't catch you. Ah, I was going to get him too, but my shoelaces have been tied together by this cool ghost, you know. So, that's how they get out of, giving the other person a smacking around. There's so many different ways of looking at anything, right?
Hmm.
It's kind of fun like that. So,
Yeah, that's right.
like,
I mean,
we had a conversation with somebody just the other night, Wednesday night, and it's yeah, I think this is kind of cool because we all sort of believe in the same things. When one of the people said, and I said, yeah, like Jesus rode a dinosaur. it just popped into my mind, and the best way a person can say something like that is if they can do it completely blank faced. You know what I mean? Like no emotion in that,
hmm.
because Jesus rode a dinosaur, and just stare right at them, and let them decide, do they really believe in that or don't they? Because you're giving no context, like no facial expression to contextualize whether you believe it or not, or your voice is flat. Jesus used to ride dinosaurs, and it just, I love, how frustrating that might be in in drama. See, these are the things that I'm always thinking of when I'm working on the one pagers, is that, like, these silly ideas. I don't know. It's like a treasure trove of bad ideas that I have rolling around in my head.
But that's very interesting because later, for example, every stream we get to see, like, I don't know, maybe a quarter or half of the process.
Yeah.
And then when you show the final piece, sometimes for me it's very surprising how you arrange the elements, or how you decide not to go in a particular direction or something. Because yeah, I you have noticed this, I tend to put very, very stupid suggestions in the chat when I'm not
Oh, I
here
don't think I
streaming,
don't think
no?
that's stupid at all. It's
And
just,
sometimes you follow my kind of line, and
Yeah.
you finish doing something like that. But some other times it's like, wow, this is so totally different to what we were saying in the chat, you know. So that's really nice.
Well, it's kind of fun to just go with whatever you're inspired by, or to just, this whatever random thought or idea comes through your head. You're like, no, I'm doing that. I got to do that. You know, this one's too much fun. It's
Have you
so
ever regretted something? Like, for example, if you're thinking about how to take a page to a particular result, and then you finish the page and you're like, oh, this is not exactly what I wanted. Did you ever go back and redo it?
nope. No, I have not gone back and redone any pages. Uh, I tried that with this one book project. I went and reworked a bunch of pages and realized whatever the immediate energy that I put into these pages was, it's gone now. I wrecked it, by
Mm.
overworking. So I try not to do that. So I try to stay away from that entirely.
Yeah,
Just
I don't
because
read pages because of boredom, you know?
what's that?
Yeah, I don't, for example, let's say that I make a mistake here. These books have the same page uh, in the second part of the book.
Was that right?
And I don't think I will color this one again just
No.
because of boredom, just because I have
Yeah.
done it once and I said, okay, that's done. So,
Well, that's the creative mind is constantly looking for further challenges, further developments. So, you know, of course, that's how you be, right? Like it's an interesting thing. It's the sort of stuff that keeps everything fresh and fun and new. And where can I take this? And how can I make this match like that? That's why I work in so many different mediums, is because, all right, next, it's just
mhm.
constantly jumping to the next thing to keep me interested in having fun. Because if it was just me drawing with a pencil every day, I think I'd saw my own foot off. It's just too much. Too much of sameness, boringness. That's looking brilliant.
Yeah, let me just put this one as a close up so
Nicely
you
done.
can see it. But yeah, just because I don't want to do the same, I don't think I will color this. Not even with a different medium or colors. I think I'll just. It's almost ready. I was going to do a stencil here and I just
Yeah.
didn't like it. So I'm thinking about what to do here. Probably put something dark. But it's almost ready for the January Dragon. This
There
is,
you
oh,
go.
it's good. At least I have something finished.
It
And
looks
yeah.
brilliant.
Oh, look at this. I forgot to show you this. It's
Oh, yeah.
the digital stylus.
Nice. This is for your iPad?
Yeah, this is for the iPad.
Nice.
Eventually, I will get an Apple Pencil. I know I would finish doing that, but
Well, if it
so
does the
far,
job, it does the job.
yeah, this one works fine and it's cool. And you have the nice little black dot here, and this is what I like: the
That is cool. That is super
pencil
cool.
part, the brush part. So I'm
That's
going to start
impressive.
using this one soon.
Yeah, I think you'll have some fun with it. There's there's so much coolness to that. Like that just lets you try different things. I like when you get new stuff in your, in either in your cabinet of tools or in your space that make you more comfortable in whatever you're doing.
Hmm.
I got a new stool coming tomorrow, and it's a high sitting stool, so it's far more comfortable for my back. But it's always a hassle for me to order anything like that because my
Hmm.
size. It's like just because I'm gorilla sized, and actually somebody said I should say giraffe sized. It makes more sense. Anyways, um, it's all. It's all just sort of one more thing. Like that pen is just one more thing that's going to help you communicate your ideas outwardly.
Hmm. That's
So
right.
so so
So I
let's see
like
where
it.
let's can we have one more look how your page is going now? before we wrap up here?
This one, the dragon one.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
There you
So
go.
that dotting pattern at the top, is that a texture that was on the page?
It's
Did you
a
do that?
stencil.
Excellent. Yeah, that looks really cool.
So it's a skin, snake skin.
Oh, okay. That's that. Yeah. Did you get? Who'd you
So
get that from?
I was planning to do something with this one. Let me see which is the correct side. Yeah, I think
Oh,
like this. But I'm not so sure what I'm going to do right now. Probably use it, probably not. I'll have to make a decision on
nice.
how to use this one because I really want to use something because I see Didi using the stencils and as we mentioned, the pan pastels, and I'm like, okay, she's enabling me, but
Yeah.
that would be the only art thing I will save money for and probably buy.
She should do. She should do like some sort of a business card that says, Dee Dee Willingham, art enabler.
Exactly. Exactly. She enables the 100 people or so that she gets in her streams. It's just,
Hey, it's scrapbook week, and everybody's like, oh, scrapbooks. Like even I wanted to do the scrapbook, but I got caught up and too busy with other things that I missed the mark, and so it's really late now into January, but
yeah, that's right. And
you know,
her moderators, they make a good job enabling us, because the moment they put the link to Amazon,
oh yeah,
yeah,
that's
somebody's going to buy that.
that's impressive.
It is.
Where somebody's talking and they're talking with Didi, and suddenly up comes their Instagram page, link or whatever it is. It's like Didi's moderators are awesome.
Yeah, that's
I got to
right.
get a moderator. That's what I got to do.
That's very easy. You can just open YouTube, your stream. You click on the name of any person who is there at chat, where it has to be live,
Yeah.
and it gives you the option to make this person a moderator or not. So
Hey, I know
it's
you came here because you just wanted to look at, pictures developing and listen to bad jokes, but you're going to get to work now.
yeah. Now you're a moderator, so
Now you're a moderator. Enjoy. Yeah.
it's fun because sometimes you really help the person who is streaming to pay attention to certain comments or something,
Yeah. Yeah. It really helps.
and especially if you have a lot of people during the stream, I think it's more than necessary.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a plus for effectiveness, like for you to be engaging with people as they're tuning in and making comments. So I like that a lot.
Yeah. If you
Yeah.
have a chance, you should. I don't know if you can watch the rerun that during Paul's stream, New
Yeah.
Year's. He was the last streamer.
Yeah.
He was so overwhelmed because he had like 30 something people in his
Is that
chat
right?
room. And he was like, oh, what am I doing here? And were very, very nice. They say, take it easy, guys. It's the first time Paul is having so many people. So if he doesn't answer fast, just give him some time.
Yeah.
And I think we made him nervous.
Well,
So
it's a lot, right? It's going to be overwhelming if you're, introverted and prefer working in some sort of solitude, and then now you've got like 30 people going, "What is that you're drawing? Is that an ear? Is that the ear? Is it the whole side of the head? Are you drawing the nose now?" Like sometimes it's overwhelming. I had
that's
a
right.
I had a page that I put out. I don't do licensed characters because you can't do anything with those pages because
Hmm.
you're on some, on the case of yesterday, it was the robots from the black hole versus the Flash Gordon. And so I'm doing this commission, and the guy who played um, Flash Gordon or whatever the space movie was, he's it's one of those whole ghost hunters type things.
Okay.
So this actor on the weekend is going to get paid to do some ghost hunting, and it's like crazy ideas from stuff like that. I like that. I like that a lot. I think that you can do so much with incorporating ideas. My head goes off on tangents because of that. Like it's all the time. I'll start with talking about one thing, and then suddenly I'm off in la la land again.
Okay.
Why not, right? Like it's
Yeah, that's right.
keeps everything fresh, and like referring back to what you were saying earlier. That's why it's kind of I'll do these left turns on
Hmm.
the page, and suddenly the next panel is a talking giraffe, and then this happened. Why
Hmm.
not? That's the whole part of the fun of doing these things. Well, I gotta wrap up. I got a couple other things I gotta get to, and
Excellent.
thank you so much, Chris, for hanging out. And everybody, if you get a chance, please go and check out Chris's YouTube channel and subscribe, and because she's putting up some pretty awesome videos and doing all kinds of work. And you can look up how she shows people how they can do the needle felting. See, I got it that time, needle felting.
Yes.
And
Very-
as well as this coloring a new dragon every month. This is fantastic.
I'll try to. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you for having me. Actually, thank you for having me.
Oh,
It's
it's always
always
fun to have
fun.
you on.
It's always fun to stream
Yeah.
in pairs, as we say.
Yeah, well, because you can talk about process, you can talk about journey, you can talk about things of interest. Like it's a little challenging when you're trying to negotiate a chat or whatever it is, and at the same time keep working on the thing you're working on at some measure of quality that makes sense to you, right? Like it's sometimes it just overwhelms you.
Cool.
That's all right, but that's all right. We got good people that tune in on our different streams here. Like I've yet to come across somebody being mean, somebody being jerky. So that's good. I like that. I'll
Mhm.
see how that's. All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming in and tuning in and checking out what we're up to. And thanks, Chris, for showing your work and for
Thank
coming and
you.
hanging out in such a great conversation. So, yeah, you know what? Looking at your dragon with the camera pulled out a little bit, you can really see that texture pop at the top.
Hmm.
It's so
Yeah.
cool. So cool. All right. Okay. Thanks very much. I'll be, it's Friday, right?
Yeah.
Be kicking around on the weekend and trying to check out people's streams, and maybe I'll finally sit down, and I've got a whole bunch of time lapse things I got to put up, and maybe I'll get myself to that. But Chris, what are you streaming this weekend?
If I get home tomorrow early, I'll probably stream tomorrow around midday.
Okay.
So
Okay. So
if not until next week, it all depends. It
yeah,
all depends
if
on a
you
lot of
if people like what Chris is doing, please go and subscribe and check out her channel. All right. Thanks very much for coming on, and thanks everybody for tuning in. That's it for me today. Bye for now, everybody.